keep you on. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together. You see my lovely, beautiful guest, Madam D. Thank you for coming on. How are you today?
Good, good. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And I love what you're doing. Black girls getting their shift together.
Thank you.
Ooh, that is awesome. So I commend you for that. So
Thank
thank you for
you.
thank you for
There's a
having me.
there's a backstory. We'll get into that later, but I had to
There's
get my
always a
shift.
backstory, right?
Yeah, exactly. I had to get my shift together.
Yeah,
I
that's
really
powerful.
did. But I just want to introduce everyone to you, but I want everybody to know how you and I met. So I met this beautiful soul on
Thank
Erica
you.
Warren's Dope Discussions Live.
Mhm.
And sis, right here, you were dropping gems. You really filled my soul. I
Oh man.
You really did. I was laying in bed watching on my laptop, and you
Mhm.
were just flowing. I sat up, and that was me. I don't know if you knew that was me in the chat. Just
Really?
that was me. Yeah. If you go back and
Oh,
look,
God bless.
well, you didn't know me at the time, but if you go back and
Mhm.
look, and if you see all the black girls getting their shit together, that was.
Mhm.
Oh man.
Man. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you. I'm
Yeah.
glad that you were blessed.
Oh, I
Thank
really
you.
was. I was like,
Thank
I
you.
see the God in her. Who is this
Oh,
sister?
wow. Thank
Who
you.
is she?
Oh,
But
thank
speaking
you.
of God,
Mm.
little angel told me you went to church today.
I did. I did.
And what was the topic of discussion at church, I heard?
um, so the topic of discussion today was Jonah and the whale. That was
Okay.
the main topic of the discussion today. But on my way home from church, I was just reading a couple. You know how you can listen to scriptures off YouTube?
Okay.
Yeah, and I was listening to some things, and it really made me. It hit home about forgiveness, right? I thought about just a dog, right? Just a dog, right?
Mhm.
So think about a dog being on a leash. The dog is constantly restricted when he's on a leash. But you said, like, what does a dog on a leash got to do with anything, right? When we constantly focus on not forgiving someone, we're holding ourselves hostage and it restricts our movement for us moving forward.
Mm.
That leash is filled with hate, anger, bitterness. All of that with it comes
Mm.
together of us not forgetting well, we can't forget, but us not forgiving someone who hurt us. And why are we so stuck on not forgiving someone? Right?
You know what? You just gave me the intro snippet to my audio podcast right there. What you just said, I am going to use that. Wow. Mm.
But think about it though, it restricts our movement, not just from the aspect of a leash, but it restricts our movement from our friendships, our relationships, our association, from anything. You could be walking to the store, but because you're so bitter and you can't forgive someone, you're holding on to things that can cause pain to you and somebody else. Somebody can just be giving you positivity, but you turn into negativity because you're held hostage in your own emotions, in your own
Wow.
mind, because you haven't forgive someone or forgive a situation that you couldn't control. And think about people and human. We have to understand that we cannot control everything.
We
Everything
cannot.
is not our responsibility.
Mm.
We can't prevent certain things. There are some things that out of our control.
Wow.
But we can't let things fester and to destroy our inner peace, because that what causes other generations to be affected by our not getting what we have, that's inside of us not fixed and not worked, because we can't forgive what happened in the past. We can't forgive mom. We can't forget dad. We can't
Yes.
forgive brother. We can't forgive our grandmothers. We can't forgive that man that hurt you, that left you. We can't forgive him. Now
Mm.
nobody else can have that opportunity to love you like you're supposed to be loved, because you won't forget. You won't forgive somebody that hurt you.
Wow. This is a good segue.
Mhm.
Uh, First of all, excuse me.
I'm
I got
sorry.
so excited talking to you.
I'm sorry.
No, I got so involved. Sis, I'm so sorry. Can you tell the people what you do about
Okay.
with the Madam D brand?
Yeah, yeah. So, my name is Madam D. I am the CEO and the founder of Stopping the Silence, and I'm just so blessed that I can say that I'm blessed because
Mm,
Stopping the Silence is a movement. In this assignment for me that helps people to stop their silence about what God has done for them. Most of the time, people think that stopping the silence is about sexual abuse. It's definitely not. Stopping the silence is about you as a human being, um, allowing you to move forward and taking that hand off of your mouth that the adversary has, that's preventing you to speak out about how you were delivered, how you were healed. And I think that's what he wants. He wants us to be quiet about things so somebody else can't hear. He preys on darkness. He preys on
wow.
that. And if we don't, as believers, as people who've gone through things, and relying on God to get us out, if we stop speaking, those who are in darkness can't hear us, because faith
Mm,
come by hearing. But we have to
mm.
speak so they can hear us. So Satan wants us to be quiet. So I am on a mission to cut the enemy lies. We are cutting the
Sis.
enemy lies and say, hey, no, we're stopping the silence because somebody else need to hear me. So what I can deliver from, somebody else can be delivered from, because I'm speaking out. I am walking in my authority. I'm speaking in my authority, and I'm speaking over you and your lives. So that's what stopping the silence is about. So I'm on a mission to get as many people to just tell their story about what they have gone through so somebody else can be delivered and come out of their dark place.
Wow. And when I hear you talking about your mission, we just talked, what, 3 minutes ago about how you can continue a toxic cycle by
Yeah.
holding on.
Mhm,
But see,
mhm,
this is a
mhm.
positive
Yeah.
cycle.
Mhm,
It
mhm.
starts with us. Every guest I have on, I consider all my guests as generation breakers. And I
Yeah.
see that in you, or
Wow.
toxic generational
Yeah. Yeah.
breakers.
And you know what, Ursula, I think a lot of us has been taught to suppress our emotions, to be quiet about certain things. But
Yes.
that's an oppression that we've learned from way back when, generations, way back when. We
Speak.
we were taught
Speak.
to keep your mouth shut, don't say nothing, just go along with the flow. No,
No. But
no.
I can see back then because you would be unalived,
Yeah, yeah, yes, yes.
right?
Right, 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 right.
But now,
Now,
no.
yeah. But even in the spiritual aspect of it, no, I don't have to be quiet because I that's something that I've been through, and somebody else can be delivered from that. I don't have to just keep everything inside of me. No, it's my responsibility to tell the world about what God has done for me, how I
Mm,
was healed, how I was delivered. That's important. Now people may think that my story isn't important. Yes, it is. Why?
mm,
Because somebody need to hear your story so they can be delivered. They're waiting on you.
yeah.
Somebody, they're relying on you to open up your mouth so they can hear you. That's your blessing and that's their blessing.
And
It's
you
the,
know,
it's your stewardship, your release.
I
And I say
know.
this all the time: is your release for peace, not just for yourself, but for somebody else's peace.
I agree because every time I stream,
Hmm.
one out of just say every 3 streams, I get an inbox or I get a text message and they'll say, "Your
Wow!
guest has touched me." And then they'll give me their story.
Wow!
Yes, every time. As a matter of fact, I streamed last week
Hmm.
and she lit up in that DM
Wow!
and she said, "I am so touched because what your guest said triggered me to thinking about what the past experience had happened."
Uh huh.
You just
Hmm.
never know who's
Yeah.
listening.
You just never know. You don't know.
I have a Reiki coach. I was having a Reiki session a couple years ago. And when I started coming into this new enlightenment, and I told her, I said, sometimes when people say that I touch them for whatever words come out of my mouth, and just like yourself, and I tell her, I said, I don't even remember some of the things I
Yeah.
said. And you know what she told me?
What?
She's like, because it wasn't for you to keep.
Woo! Wow.
When she said that, I was like, okay, I get it now. I'm getting it. Yeah.
Wow.
Just like when you were on Erica's show, you had me sitting up in my bed and I challenge you to go back to that stream that you were on and you're going to see how many times I was commenting. You were dropping some
Wow.
gems. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, you just
Mm,
don't know who's listening. You don't know who's
never,
listening.
never know.
Mm-hmm.
But now we can get back to the forgiveness.
And I apologize. I just went right into it, so I
I
apologize.
did too. I was really excited about this. I could have
Yeah.
stopped it, but I didn't. It doesn't matter. That's why I said, "Oh, I'm gonna use this as the opening snippet." It is all good. So I'm gonna read this anonymous letter, and
Okay.
I got this from, let's see what website. It's Go Susie. So as you were dropping your gems, you didn't even know that I was going to do this, and everything you just talked about was in this anonymous letter. May
Wow.
I read it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm interested.
So again, this is from gosusie.com, and it talks about true forgiveness versus false forgiveness. And so the writer said, "Dear Susie, my husband keeps telling me I need to let it go.
Mm.
And days will go by when I feel that I truly have forgiven, but then something will trigger my anger. He'll say something, or I'll hear something on TV, and it just brings back everything all over again. I know I can't continue like this. My husband and even my kids walk around me on eggshells because at any moment something can set me off. Please help." You just said that, all of that. I know.
You're
I know.
so funny.
Woo!
That is interesting. I would love to know what exactly that is triggering her and the anger.
Hmm.
Um, did she did she specify that? Did I miss that?
No, she didn't
She didn't.
say. Let's see. Nope, she did not say. That was it was just a question and that
Mm,
was it. So yeah, I actually thought the same thing too. I wonder what triggered it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
she sees it on TV or her husband,
Mm-hmm.
but it seems like everybody's in high anxiety
Mm.
over there.
Yeah, and I think most of the time, if not all the time, there is a root to certain things. There's a root to that,
Absolutely.
and we have to face the root and recognize the root and accept the root. So therefore, we can move on with the root and learning how to heal from that. So,
Yes.
it's the what is triggering you and why it's triggering you. And once we figure that out, then we can move forward and beginning the healing process because we have to recognize and accept it and to find the root, where did it come from, and then go back to the deepness of it. Was something that happened to your
Mm.
past? Was it a
Mm.
childhood experience? Then we
Yes.
can break down those. So I'm a life coach as well, and so one of my biggest things that I like to do when I have various clients is that it's called the table method. And the table
Oh.
method is that when you lay the table out, so the table represents the main source of the issue. So just say if the issue is I can't sleep at night, right?
Mhm.
So that's on top of the table. So we have four legs that supports the table. So what supports that I can't sleep at night? So you have one leg is that I, as a child, my dad said scary stories at night. That's one leg. The
Mhm.
second leg could be I had my brother come in the room and scare me. So different legs represent the reasoning why you're afraid um, to sleep at night. So what
Right.
we do is we tackle one leg at a time and we reverse it. So just like my brother will scare me, we'll say, well, the reason why your brother scared you because he wanted to play, taking the negative connotation out of it and flip it to the
Mm.
positivity of it. And so I think that when we have certain things that we're battling with, we really have to do the table method and figure out what is on top of the table that really is the base of your issue. And then,
Right.
and why is it causing so much pain? And what is supporting it? What's supporting those things? And we break down each of those tables. And if you notice, if we take away all four of the legs, the top collapse. And then we
Oh my
can build
god.
up things from the positiveness of it. Oh, your brother wanted to play, or your dad wanted to spend quality time for you. Now we know what we're doing is then once that things come back to you, we can say those positive things that can flush out those negative things that cause you not to sleep at night.
I love it. Ah,
Yeah.
that's some good stuff.
Thank you. So we really just sometimes we don't take the time out to stop and recognize our hurt and why are we hurting. And think about that too. We're so caught up in the pain. We have to push through that pain and say, "Hey, what is it that's causing me pain and why?" And once we figure it out, it's like you blinding putting the pieces of the puzzle back together.
That's exactly what it is. Yes.
But we have to, even though it may be like it's a hard work, open up your eyes and let's get through this. Because it's more painful for you to stay in that pain,
Right,
you to come
right,
out of it and fix it.
right. Wow. Do you find sometimes that some of your clients that they don't know how to identify their legs?
So typically for that part, I normally drag it out of them. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's harder for them to do that. It's harder for them to recognize what causes that. So typically, I say what I think is the legs, and then they tell me if it is or not. And I like to really just let the Holy Spirit lead me to it. But
Right.
they once I say maybe this is one of the reasons why, they be like, well, maybe that is because it's hard for them to recognize because they're so fascinated about the tabletop, the main issue, that they don't even know where it started.
There it is. That's it. And whether if it's a something small, I hate to say small, but
Yeah.
maybe some yeah, that's not a
Mhm.
good choice of
But I
words.
understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Right, as opposed to something that's a
Yeah.
little T trauma or big T
Yep.
trauma.
Yep.
I believe sometimes w we get so engrossed in our trauma
Mhm.
that we start to take on the persona of that trauma.
Mm, mhm.
We
Mhm.
identify it as it, so we're not able to see our legs
Yeah.
on that
Mhm.
table. I know
Mhm.
I at one point, and I'm still figuring out my legs.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, like my subconscious legs now.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. But I think it's all conducive too. I think of this little story here, this thing happened here, and it comes together. And then you get to the point it's so bad where you forget the little pieces, and all you're simmering into
Right.
is the negative effect that it caused you. Then it gives
Mm.
you the excuses. It makes yourself get you start to make excuses for yourself because it's like, well, I dealt with this. Now it's okay for me to feel angry. And that's
Oh,
what the adversary wants you to do. He wants you to forget those things that can if you remember and fix it, it will help you to heal. But he don't want you to remember that. He wants you to remember the whole root of just anger, anxiety, depression. That's what he wants you to do. He didn't want you to go back because when you go back, it's an opportunity that you can go get fixed. He didn't want you to do that. He didn't want
and
to focus. Because
heal.
think about, I dealt with people that's would have deep depression. All they keep saying is, "I'm just sad. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why." They
Mm.
don't care about the why. They just understand that they are sad and that's it. Because they forgetting that they're forgetting about why they want to just to simmer in their sadness.
And that was my next question for you, but that answered it. I was gonna ask you, why do you feel that some people it's hard to forgive? But you just said it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. So I a couple of months ago I had my car totaled, right?
Ooh.
But before they deemed it totaled, so my car was parked, right? And
Mhm.
so a bus he sideswiped it, and I'm
Oh,
telling you, it was bad. It was bad. So to just use that example, right? So just stay here with me. I had the opportunity to either now just say if he didn't have insurance, right? So I
right.
either had the opportunity of keeping the car and just driving around with it, didn't up like it was, or I could use my insurance to get the car fixed.
I love
So we
it.
had to understand, um, do we
Love
want to walk around in life full of dents?
Mm.
Or do we just want to forgive people and use our own assurance, not insurance, assurance
Girl.
to get it fixed? So now you can be dentless and be whole.
I love
But we're so
it.
look, we're so okay with walking. Now, sometimes when if we just walk around with the dent and be like it don't exist, we're start to make excuses for ourselves because we're so used to the dent now. Oh, why you get that fixed? Oh, it's okay. We're forgetting that it's there because we're so used to it.
You're right. And you're right. Because we'll drive around so often, so long that you don't even see it
No,
anymore.
no.
No.
It's starting to get normal to you, just like depression, just like anxiety. And I'm saying this because I've been there.
Yes,
It's starting to get so normal to me that I thought it was normal, but that is not normal for you to stay in darkness and be okay.
it
It's
is
not
not.
okay to keep crying at night. It's not okay because you deserve to be at peace. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be dentless.
Mm.
And you have to forgive to be dentless. And why you forgive? Because you were forgiven. Those who those who need forgiveness, you have to forgive. And vice versa. Forgiveness take forgiveness. Understand that. So when somebody hurt you, understand you were forgiven. There's
Wow.
some time in your life where you need to be forgiven. Forgive someone, not just for them, but for yourself.
I am. I'm really feeling this because people need to hear this message. Yeah, and I'm taking this very personal.
Mm,
Yes.
mhm,
I'm like, as you're talking, I'm processing at the same time,
mhm,
but I feel it. I really do. People, including myself, I am people, need to
mhm.
hear this.
We all at one
We
point
all do.
need to hear this.
Yeah,
And even if we hear right now, we forget somebody next time, we got to think about because the different types of pain require more strength. You see what I'm saying?
facts.
So somebody could hurt us so bad. We'd be like, I can't forgive this one. But it still requires forgiveness. Why can't you forgive? Because not just for that person, but it's for you.
And I just learned that this year.
Mm,
I really did. I could not wrap my brain around it. But
mm-hmm,
when you said that, not really for the other person, but really for you,
mm-hmm,
yeah,
mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
get it now. I'm still a work in progress, but I
We
I
all are.
can grasp it now, at
Mm-hmm,
least. Because before I truly could not understand it at all. And you know what? Ooh,
mm-hmm.
light bulb moment. It
Ooh,
kept
awesome.
me stuck. I was emotionally stuck.
You get a leash, restricted.
The leash. It was the leash. I have to have you on again. Oh my God. I cannot keep this into 1 hour.
Oh,
Had that
man.
leash. Wow. Woo. Well, do you have anything else you want to say? Or I can go into some of these graphics.
Um, no.
Yeah, these
I gotta
graphics
think about
still,
it.
we can go through
Mm,
some of them.
yeah.
And remember, this is an audio podcast. So whichever one you think just resonates with
Let's
you.
see.
So while you look, I'm going to read the title.
Okay.
And these are 8 signs that you're suppressing. That goes back to that leash that Madam D was talking about instead of forgiving. So we have 8 signs, and I'll let you pick one. And whichever one that feeds your soul, you can just read it out loud.
Let me see.
And while she's looking, that's suppressing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to give a a little story that I remember. There was this one person I could not forgive him for what he said and what he's done to me. And do you know, anytime it was a relationship I had, and anytime I saw a person, a man that even reminded me of him, I was instantly triggered. And
Mm.
that relationship had already sailed. you know,
Mm-hmm.
again, that leash.
Mm-hmm.
So what number resonates with you? If there's one that
Yeah,
resonates.
I have a couple of them, but the first thing that I'm gonna be honest, because one of them is easier to speak about, but this one is more difficult. But I'm gonna say it because that was the first thing. It's
Mhm.
number one: your painful feelings are buried but not gone. They have
Oh,
tendencies to come up again.
there you go.
That just speaks for itself.
It really does.
And I think sometimes we want to forget things. Um, Once we pass forgiving, want to forget, but um, it's okay not to forget, and I just understand it's okay not to forget, but you have to allow those emotions to be released. That doesn't mean if you remember, you're supposed to allow those emotions to come up and dictate your actions. You have
Mhm.
to cut off those emotions. Once you forgive, you cut off those emotions, not your memory of it, but those emotions that came with the memory.
Wow. That's deep. That's deep.
Because think about it, our emotions dictate our actions.
Uh,
So if our emotions are suppressed regarding the situation, we won't have no actions to it. So it takes away the power of the incident once you
Mm.
release that.
Mm.
That's why it becomes void. But it's, the memory still exists, but it doesn't have any power to it.
That's something else. Yeah. And that's it's the transference of power. You're
Yeah, yes,
right.
yes, most definitely. Ooh,
Wow.
girl. And look, ooh, that transfer of power.
Talk to me.
uh, if you know the power that you have, it can help fight off all those negative powers that comes against you. So
You're
you have to walk in
right.
your authority and find your authority, who you really are. And that helps fight against the adversary. That's what I got to say. Helps fight against the adversary, which is always negative and speaks lies on us. So
Wow.
we have to bring forth the power that's inside of us to push away those things that can help us get healed from those things.
Mm. You better say it, Madam D.
And
I'm
another
gonna
one is, I'm
which
sorry,
one? Which one?
you fail to experience any release or sense of peace.
Yes.
And the same thing, like once you release, it helps bring forth the peace. But I think as human beings, we like to feel, we like to give ourselves excuses to feel a certain way.
I'm triggered.
Woo! We like to give ourselves, oh, this is why I act like this, so this is okay. Really? Really? Because you have an excuse, that means it justifies your actions.
Right.
It justifies you putting up with the way you are. Is that how it's supposed to be? Are you healed?
It's just a band-aid.
Yeah.
Story time. I'm gonna tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to one of my coaches. It was a group coaching last Tuesday, as a matter of fact. And
Mm-hmm.
guess who was in the hot seat, quote unquote hot seat that night?
You.
I know. And I'll tie this into the forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And she was talking about it was a situation I had with an ex coworker.
Uh-huh.
And so you just triggered something in my head because she was the professional abuse. That's what was going on. And
Oh.
then she said, "Well, do you think you could forgive her?" And I was like, "Yeah," but she was really digging deep. She removed the four legs of my
Mm-hmm.
table
Mm-hmm.
and she was peeling away the onions. And then I just took some accountability and I said, "You know what? I actually like not liking her."
Hmm. Hmm.
I didn't know that though.
Mm.
Subconsciously,
Yeah.
let
Mm-hmm.
me say that, yeah, subconsciously, because remember she kept peeling back the
Yeah,
layers.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I just
yeah.
had to be real with myself. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I really I don't yeah, I didn't I liked not liking her.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Of course we got in deeper with that. So now I
Mm-hmm.
get it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you see
Mm-hmm.
people differently, but again, what you were saying, it wasn't even about her. It was about me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So now I know when I see her, that feelings have dissipated. It's really
Mm-hmm.
almost like osmosis because it
Mm-hmm.
really isn't about her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
then we put the table legs back together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Transparent moment.
Yeah. I almost had the same situation with somebody else who was doing me wrong.
Really.
I had to, yeah. And I had to, everybody else saw it, but besides her. Um, but I had to really think. And again, this is something that all last year, I kept hearing, the spirit kept saying to me, there are some things you cannot control.
Mm-hmm.
There are some things and once we get past that, people actions don't have any power, because it's like if somebody's going through certain things and they don't know how to deal with it, they're going to deal with the best way they know how. They may have been taught to lash out at people or to take
Mm-hmm.
down on people. So if we realize that there are some things that we can't control, meaning we can't control people's actions, then we learn to accept certain things. But what I can control is my receiving of those things. If I
Oh,
receive those things the way she presented to me, I'm allowing those negative effects to be weighed on me and to be act so my body can react the same way that she's giving it to me. But if
wow.
I stop it for what it is, if I stop it right there in this track and rebuke it, it will not come, it will not have any power over me, and my body will not react to it. So yeah,
Mhm.
you can act a certain way towards me. That's fine. But when I receive that invitation, because in my mind I'm looking at a lot of things I think of as more spiritual too. If I look at it from a spiritual aspect, like if you throw something at me,
Mhm.
if in order for me to catch the ball, I had to raise my hand and to try to.
Oh my God.
But if I dodge it and allow it to pass me, it has no effect on me. But if I
None.
catch it, now it's in my possession.
Ah,
That's the thing about people. When you catch people's negativity, there, what they say about you, if you catch it, now it's in your possession. But if you
mm,
move away and step aside, it has no control.
none at
You are not
all.
in possession of it.
Wow.
So we have to understand what people are going to be people regardless, good people, bad people, or whatever. Do not allow what they have to oppress you to become something that you're not in a
That's
negative way.
that's beautiful.
Don't
Mm,
catch it. Don't catch it. Simple as that. Don't catch it. Now it may be harder, just harder to. It's easy to say and to actually do it, but it takes practice. It takes a lot of training and rebuke certain things. Know that this is not what I have in my life. Like this is not what God called me to be. I can't just accept everything because boundaries are very important too. Boundaries,
oh,
keeping people in boundaries is very important, and
absolutely.
especially emotional boundaries. Because when you start to trust people, it's harder for you not to catch it because now you have emotions string to it, tied to it.
Hmm. Another leash.
Yeah, it's so many things that we don't see, so many things that we are not paying attention to that's happening around us. We're allowing our
Wow.
emotions and stuff to get attached to things that shouldn't be. And that's why
That's
it's so important too. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go to a different route. Social media, and I'm gonna tell you one of the things that really, really cause us to have these emotional attachments. When you constantly repeatedly have things pour into your psyche, it causes leashes.
oh, repeat that again.
When you're constantly allowing things to deposit into your psyche, when you're constantly watching negative shows, negative TikToks, negative stuff, stories on Instagram, whatever it may be, you're downloading that stuff into your psyche and it's causing
Mhm.
negative leashes to you.
Exactly.
And then you're pouring that to other people and say, why am I acting like this? Because you're constantly allowing those things to be deposited into your mind and accepting it and
Yeah.
becoming normal for you.
Right. It's just like a virus. You can't
Yeah.
see it, but you can feel it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the one of these, even with the personalities we got now with just men and women, like this whole not forgiveness stuff is like it's normal now. Like, well, I'm gonna let bygones be bygones. Like, I'm just gonna leave it alone and just no. Like, okay, I'm
No.
gonna leave it alone, but you still feel hurt when you see her. You want to fight her or him. No, is that really forgiving? That's
Exactly.
not what it's supposed to be. For the
It-
sake of, I don't want to just want to just leave it alone, but it's still hurting you. Is it
exactly.
leaving it alone? Is it?
Mm-mm. No, no, ma'am.
You have to heal and forgive. Forgive.
And that sounds like when I hear you talk, that sounds like a self boundary that a person has to have for themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You really
I'm
got me
sorry. I
thinking.
talk.
No, no. This is about learning. This is some good stuff. I'm gonna read one. This a lot resonate, but this kept me stuck. Number 5. You
Ooh.
feel like forgiving is a favor you are granting.
Ooh.
Yeah, I
Mm.
know. I know.
Mm.
That kept me emotionally stuck as well because
Mm-hmm.
I felt, well, if I forgive that person, I'm giving them a pass. I don't want to give that pass because I want you to hurt like you hurt me. But and none of this is communication. This is all internal, the
Mm-hmm.
ruminating thoughts, which is extremely unhealthy. And then when
Mm-hmm.
you suffer from depression, that is just like
Mm-hmm.
putting what is it, lighter fluid
Mm-hmm.
already on a bonfire.
Can you repeat that comment you just said?
Absolutely.
No, before you know, after you
Oh,
just read it, the comment you just made.
I felt that if I was to forgive the person, it was giving them a pass
Mm-hmm.
on the heinous crime, whatever it was
Mm-hmm.
that they've
Mm-hmm.
done to me. And that
Mm-hmm.
kept me emotionally stuck. That leash you were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But again, it had nothing to do with them. That's why when you said that, it resonated. It had nothing to
Mm-hmm.
do with them. It's something for me so that I can let that leash go,
Mm-hmm.
drop it.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of us think about that past part because as you was talking, I was like, hmm, hmm.
You too?
Yeah, I was like, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
That we think that we won't forgive because we're just giving them a pass.
Mhm.
Um, but what is the root to that? Fear. We're afraid that they
Mm,
might do it again or somebody else might do it again. It's fear.
exactly. That's exactly what it is.
But what is the cause of fear? The lack of confidence.
Mm,
And I really think this is the boil down to, and this for me, I'm speaking for me.
right.
I gain a lot of confidence when I really, really, really focused on um, the kingdom of God and knowing who I really was in how God created everything in His will.
Mhm.
I've received a great confidence that I've never experienced before. So
That's
the
beautiful.
fear that I had before, I no longer have it. So if we recognize who we really are and the power that we have, a lot of these little nuances that we carry along won't even exist anymore. So
Mm,
the little thing about us not forgiving somebody because we're afraid we're giving it a pass. No, because I know who I am and because I know my authority, it's easy for me to forgive now.
I
Because I
love
know
it.
that what you do to me, it can't hurt me. And if it's gonna kill me, I'm gonna have my life again. Because guess what? I can't control everything. Everything is not my responsibility.
That is amazing. That is amazing. Oh, that's that's a look, that may be one of my snippets as well. There's so many to pick from this. Oh, man. You know, I love what you said because this false forgiveness, I just learned
Mhm.
this false forgiveness, but, or the term, but the resentment, anger, hurt, spite, hate, regret, all that is familiar, but I
Yeah.
never put it as a term of false forgiveness, and that's everything you just talked about.
Ooh. But you know what? I'm looking at this right here, and this has on top of the line, it has false forgiveness, and false forgiveness is so beautiful. It has the sky, it has the iceberg, and it has the water, and it's just giving out a perfect picture. But
Yes.
underneath, you have all of this this bitterness, angry, hurt.
Mm,
It's all ugly inside, and it's the depth of it. And as I mentioned before, we have to get
Mhm.
beyond that and get to the root of what's causing these things. And resentment, anger, hurt, these all are the product of false forgiveness. Um,
Mhm.
hate, regret. I can't see the other one. Is there anything beyond regret?
Let's see. Let me take the banner off.
Oh,
Ooh.
outrage.
Oh,
Ooh, upset.
what is that?
Vengeful.
Vengeful.
Woo! Why do we want to get revenge on somebody? Because we want them to have the equal or more pain than what we experience. Why?
Exactly.
Because we feel hurt. We want them to experience the same thing.
Exactly. You know what I noticed about this picture?
Mm-hmm.
Do you
It's
notice how the
bigger.
word resentment?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yes.
you see that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
The
mm-hmm.
word resentment, and as the
Yes.
words go down, the anger, hurt, the words are
Yes.
getting smaller.
Yeah.
However, the emotions are
Mm-hmm.
getting bigger.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yep.
Ooh,
Yep. Yep. But on the outside appearance, it's so beautiful.
it's beautiful. It's a beautiful iceberg, like you said, and the water looks calm on the
Mm-hmm.
top, but
Yeah. But
honey,
even the iceberg is bigger too. The iceberg is bigger.
it sure
The hurt is
is.
bigger.
And on the undercurrent, you can hardly see the iceberg.
Yeah. It's darker too.
It's
The water's darker.
darker. It's like I'm looking at it with new eyes now.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And it's a lot of things that we don't think about, like, why am I this way?
Mhm.
We really got to spend some time with ourselves. Spend some time with
Absolutely.
ourselves and really, really focus on the healing. I
Mm.
think, and as people, correct me if I'm wrong, Ursula, I think us as people, we really get so fascinated and so focused on other people's issues that we forget that we have our own.
That is so true. Well, 'cause it's easier.
Yeah,
Yeah, on the
it's
surface
easier
level,
to
it's easier.
because we ain't got to deal with, we ain't got to face nothing. We ain't got to face no pain. We can
None.
pinpoint somebody else's issue, but it's hard for us to face ourselves because it hurts. And look, if we chipping away that, so think about that iceberg you just put up. If we're chipping away at the top iceberg, it's a smaller iceberg to chip away, but that bottom one is harder because it's a lot more iceberg to chip away. It's more chipping. It costs more us to chip more for those
Mhm.
things that's causing us to have those issues. It's too much work.
It's too much work, and because you can let me pull it up again.
Mhm.
This just popped in my head, and
Mhm.
because you can hardly see that iceberg, I believe that that's a person's subconscious.
Mhm. Mhm.
Meaning you
Mhm.
have not have to,
Mhm.
it would be good to have some alone time so that
Mhm.
your vision can be clearer so that you can
Mhm.
see that iceberg and you can get a lot more strength so that you
Mhm.
can chip
Mhm.
away at it.
Yeah. And guess what? That bottom is further from the sun. That means it's more colder at the bottom.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's harder to chip away.
Sure is.
But if you just take time and just really, really just work at it, and all I can be is me. If you just spend time with the spirit and just flush those things out with the word, because there's a scripture for all these words in here. There's
Mhm.
power in those words those power and anger can be depleted with the word. Why
Mm.
are you so angry? There's a word for that God has that can help you diminish that anger. There's a word that
Wow.
God has that can help diminish that hurt, spite, hate, regret, outrage, vengeful, upset. All of that can be demolished with the word of God.
This image is so powerful. I'm
It
gonna have
is.
to post
It
this,
is very powerful. It's
and I'm
very,
gonna
very
tag you on it.
powerful. It's very powerful. It's
It
very,
is.
very powerful. And I thank you for sharing that with me because I never seen that like that.
10, 11. It's so powerful, and it's only 11 words.
Yeah. And I noticed that the top of it is reflecting off the water. So many things can look so pretty from the outside, and we don't really realize behind it or underneath it the pain that it has.
Wow.
That's why it can we can easily dress up ourselves to be a certain way from the outside. but from the inside, that's just the reality of who we are.
We need to do a live on this on
Ooh,
Instagram.
I think we do too.
Yeah, or find other images and then just,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
in real time, give
Mhm.
our accounts, like, what do we see?
Yeah.
Because when I
Yeah.
saw this, I never looked at it this way till I
Mhm.
started talking to you. You know
Yeah.
what? And that's a perfect the term iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
talking to you is
And same here, Ursula, same
humming.
here.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Like
Yeah,
you said,
let's
iron
do it.
sharpening iron.
It really is. Or
Yeah.
pretty sharpens pretty.
You so funny.
I'm just
Ursula,
saying.
I am digging your glasses. I'm sorry.
Oh, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Look,
You're
these are
welcome.
the first this is the first time I have to actually wear my glasses more often than not. So,
Mhm.
when I realized how much glasses and prescriptions,
Yeah.
I said, "Oh my god, it's like a à la carte." I had no
Mhm.
idea. I said,
Mhm.
"Let me get on Amazon and look for some frames."
Yeah. Yeah. And look, let me ask you something too.
Yeah,
Those glasses, did you how long have you been wearing glasses now?
since June full time.
Oh, okay, but you've been having to wear them like for a while, like
Just
years.
just for work, when I
Oh,
work. Yeah, because I work
okay.
with little tiny
Mhm.
pieces, like literally millimeters, so it
Mhm.
was just for reading and just to work.
Mhm.
But other than that, never.
Mhm. Have you had to get another prescription done for it? Like a stronger prescription?
No, not
No.
yet.
Okay. Well, for me, I've been wearing glasses. I don't wear them often, but I wear them when I'm driving at night.
Okay.
So it's like every year I have to get like a stronger prescription. Even though I don't wear them all the time, I have to get a stronger prescription. And I noticed that when I get a stronger prescription, I see things clearly. And I noticed that if I use those same prescription without getting a stronger prescription, I wouldn't see the certain things. So I said all to say, it hit me. As life go by, we really have to change our thinking and change the way we look at things.
Yes.
The deeper that we get in tune with ourselves and knowing that the hurt that we have, we can start to get a change because we don't see certain things at certain ages. Like we can the what we see at 21, we don't see it at 27.
We do
We
not.
don't. But we have to change our thinking. We have to change the way we look at things because what we may see as hurt back in the day, man, okay, that's not hurt. But when you get older, like, dang, I was dealing with that. That's hurt.
Ooh,
That's pain. But we gave ourselves, we accepted it back then. But now as we get older, we like, I can't accept this anymore.
absolutely.
We can accept
Yes.
it. So we got to look at things differently. We got to, as we grow, it's some maturity that we have to have. And as I look at that iceberg looks so beautiful from the outside. I would have never thought 10 years ago that things look beautiful on the outside and things can be so messed up on the inside. You don't think about certain things until you get older. That's what made me hit
Exactly.
that iceberg. Like, man, I wouldn't have thought about those things, 20 years ago, or, because it's like that's not what my mind was. But as you
Not
get
at all.
older, your vision change.
Exactly. Or these are bifocals. I have to adjust.
Mhm. Mhm.
I have
Mhm.
to adjust so I can see
Yes,
certain
yes,
things
yeah.
a little clearer,
Yep.
go back
Mhm.
a little bit.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
speaking of adjust, we'll start to kind of close it out.
Mhm.
What are some things that people can do if even if it's something tiny, something that they can do so that they can learn or have another tool to forgive?
Hmm.
Yeah. You kind of said a lot already on
Yeah.
it.
One thing that I had to learn to, sometimes some people rely on forgiveness. They rely on closures. Sometimes you will not get closures. So understand that your forgiveness is not pending upon your closure. Because, honey, you might not get it. So stop seeking for closure. Seek for healing without the closure. Now, I'm not saying that closures can never exist, because you could forgive and the person come back and still want to. That's that. But don't rely on your forgiveness for that closure. We get
Right.
so stuck in that person have to apologize. We get so stuck on that.
Yes.
So once we realize that, number one, I keep saying it, there's some things we can't control. We can't control what somebody else does. If they don't want to be near you or talk to you or whatever, they don't want to forget. They don't forgive you. Leave it. Leave it.
Hmm.
There's some things you have to just leave it. But
Absolutely.
don't let that be your reason for not to forgive them.
Mm. And if you're looking for closure from a
Mhm,
person, like you
mhm,
said, you may not get it, or
mhm.
hell, they may apologize and they probably won't mean it and be a repeat
That's
offender.
true. That's so true. That's so
So
true.
you find that closure within yourself,
Yes.
however it looks.
Mhm. Mhm.
Do it for yourself.
Yes.
Again, that's what kept me emotionally stuck with a parent.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I need them to apologize. And now I really don't care with that one
Mhm.
particular parent if they apologize or
Mm.
not. I've already
Mhm.
made my mind up.
Yes.
It's set
Mhm.
in
Mhm.
stone.
Mhm.
It's truly linear. There's nothing going to be fluid because I took it upon myself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't care what the circumstances are. No
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
boundaries.
Yes. Yes. I totally agree. Boundaries, protect
Boundaries.
yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You have to.
Whew. This was
And
good
that's
tonight.
important too. Really realize and keep saying to yourself, forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for yourself.
Where were you 20 years ago? I needed to hear that 20 years ago because I'm too busy looking at the shiny iceberg. Where were you 20 years ago in my life, Madam D? Shame on you. Look, I'll put it back on you. Oh my God. Is there anything you'd love to promote? And your
Um,
website, like just
yeah.
tell us
Yeah.
all,
Okay.
everything.
Yeah. You can go to my website. It's stopping-the-silence.com, and you can see all of the episodes, the stories, the breakthroughs, deliverance that people have
Yes.
experienced through the grace of God. Stopping the Silence, we have an attenuation of our segment called the Courtship Tea Talk. And the Courtship Tea Talk, we have wonderful men that's speaking out about kingdom courtships and marriages. And we're actually putting on a conference for March the 5th. We're just talking about
Mm,
just relationships and courtships that will end up in marriages, about how we can ignore so many things that's happening with us and be pushing off of somebody else by the lack of that's inside of us. We lack patience. Why do we lack patience? Let's get to the root of that, because you want somebody else to be patient with you, but you can't produce patience. And
absolutely.
in this conference, we are recognizing um, those things that we suffer from recognizing ourselves. So these men are going to point out some things that we can't even see ourselves. So the more that we require of other people, we should hold ourselves accountable for as well. So that conference is March the 5th. It's virtual.
Uh-huh.
And the information is on my website. It's also on my Instagram. And then the link to the Eventbrite is on my Instagram. So please, please, even if you're married, we need you. To get on this conference, because you all have experience with certain things that I have not. I never been married before, but I married couples have a lot of experience, and they can bless them, and people can we can bless each other. So please, 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 if you're
Mhm.
interested, please go to my Instagram and the link in bio and my website for the conference. But yeah, check out the website. I hope it'll bless you.
Yes, and I will absolutely put your website and the conference link in the show description notes.
Okay, thank you, thank you,
Yes, so
thank
they
you.
can click right on it.
Okay,
We're
that'll
all a
work.
healing community. We
We
have
have
to do
to.
this for each
We have to help
other.
each other. It is about that, helping each
Yeah,
other.
absolutely.
Because maybe next week I feel low and I look at this show and you bless me, or look at your other shows. So it's all about helping each other.
Exactly. So stay
Mhm.
on. I'm going to conclude.
Okay.
We'll just press pause on this conversation because I would really hope for you to come back again. I really do.
Yeah.
You're a beautiful soul. I
Thank you
love
so much.
everything that comes out of you. You
Thank
just
you.
really
Thank you.
resonates.
Thank you for having me, Ursula. I appreciate you and I appreciate what you are about. And I like we said Black girls getting their shift together.
Yeah.
In order for things to happen and to change, you have to shift some things out, right?
Mhm.
So that really, really, it made me think about, wow, what can we shift to make things better for ourselves?
Yes.
It allow us to eliminate some things that we don't even think that needs to be shifting. We don't think about those things that we think is okay. It's not okay. So those need to be shifted out. So again, what you're doing is awesome too. So, and I know there's a backstory to it, but I don't even have to know the backstory to it. Just that title is a blessing. So
Yeah.
thank you for doing what you do.
You're so welcome. Stay on. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together. If you're watching this on a replay, make sure to type replay. Make sure you visit Madam D's website. Make sure you like, comment, share this video. And more importantly, subscribe. Subscribe is free. You can do that. And make sure and share this video with 10 of your best friends. Good night, Madam D.
Right. Thank you.
This for the queens, sisters manifesting their dreams. Get your cream by any means and beam with self-esteem. Beauty supreme and booty walk so mean. The way you fit in them jeans, you eat your cornbread and greens. Dance or a doctor, red wine or vodka. Redesign your spot and redefine your mantra. Retwist your locks and realign your chakras. Doing your squats and getting closer to God, huh? Brunching with your squad or taking a girl's trip. Adjust your crown, you God's gift to the world, sis. Celestial body, drink your water. Meditate, sun-kissed goddess, heavenly order. Levitate, tribe of Ashanti. Black girl magic, melanin popping. Whether you ratchet or lavish, whether you bougie or savage, you a gift and a treasure. You got to love a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together.